Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Let's see. Let me just make sure that I'm situated in this frame here. Awesome. All right, welcome back to the stream everyone. Today we're going to be working on the Gunforged demo, which is hopefully going to be out relatively soon. So yeah, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, and optionally, you can sign up for my newsletter at firebelly.com. And so if you are either subscribed or signed up for the newsletter, you'll be notified as soon as the demo is available for everyone to play. And yeah, for those that are new to the channel or haven't seen the game, let me go ahead and show you what's going on here. So Gunforged is a 2D arena roguelite shooter where you create powerful builds by collecting passive abilities and forging your guns out of unique parts. And so I'll get into the gameplay a little bit here and show you exactly what's going on. So yeah, you've got an arena, enemies are spawning, and your goal is to just slaughter as many of them as possible while also building up your character so that you can inflict more damage and more crazy stuff. So here I've got little rat enemies in the dungeon. I've completed that wave. All the waves are timed, so you have to kill as many enemies as you can in the amount of time given, and then the wave time increases every wave as well, and so does the amount of enemies. So here's my passive selection screen. These are permanent passives that will last for the duration of the run. So I think I'm going to take this one, Deft Reload, which allows me to reload both guns instantly on dash. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then these are my weapon upgrades. You can see that each of my weapons has stats here, and they can have these affixes. And the affixes are basically modifiers to how your gun behaves. So I'm selecting a crystal receiver here, and the crystal receiver adds a poison stack to enemies on hit. I don't want that though, so I'm going to reforge. Okay, so here's some good ones right here. Bullets pierce through enemies and adds 1 oil stack. So I'm going to take that one. And now I will be applying those oil stacks to enemies, as well as having the pierce, right? So yeah, so that's basically the game. For the demo, I've got a bunch of work to finish up for the demo. And that's what we're going to be focusing on this stream. So the first thing is I've got a basic tutorial in place that I want to finish up. And then there's a bunch of other miscellaneous UI work that needs to be done. And so yeah, we'll work through that. Maybe we'll play a little bit of this, a little bit more. So let's see, I'm going to take Zap. I like Zap. So this will zap the nearest enemy with lightning every 2 seconds, dealing 25% DPS. And let's reforge. Bullet tracking, I don't think I want bullet tracking here. No, let's just take the gold. So here's my 10 gold. I'll just go ahead and collect all that. Cool. And so gold is used for the shop. So there can be a shop that will spawn on occasion, and you can use the gold to buy weapon parts and health and whatnot at the shop. So one other thing that I want to do is play with the balancing a little bit. I think the game ramps up in difficulty just a little bit too quickly. So I'm going to be tweaking that, especially for the first level. The first level should be relatively easy to complete. I don't really want players to be dying on the first level. And it looks like we also got a crash here. So let's see what that's going on, or what's going on here. So this is a problem that I've been dealing with as well, is this crashing. I thought I fixed it, but it is still crashing. So let's see. Do I even have any logs here? My last logs were from 527. So let's see. I don't know what happened. So yeah, I thought I fixed the crash, but apparently didn't. And the logs aren't helpful either. So that's unfortunate. Let me just look in here and make sure that this is, yeah, this is not what I need. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Here's hoping that I can fix that. Now, I did trace the issue down to being a ref counted issue. So there is an issue with the C# version of Godot right now where when you instantiate something that is ref counted, there's a potential for it to fail or crash because it's not thread safe. And there's a fix out for that right now, but unfortunately that fix has not been merged yet. So I think worst case scenario, I might be building the engine myself in order to pull in that fix. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But anyway, let's work on the tutorial a little bit. So yeah, let's do that. So here's my tutorial. I'll go ahead and open it up. So the tutorial flow is very simple. It's just a bunch of text at the top of the screen. And it's going to be very simple because I don't want to sort of overwhelm people with too many controls. So it's just move and then aim container, which shows you how to aim, tells you how to shoot, and also how to dash. And this works pretty well. So if I go to my main here, so you can see at the top of the screen, I can move. So after I move a certain distance, it will advance to aiming. And if I aim a little bit, it will advance again. And then if I shoot a little bit, it will advance. And then of course I can dash now. And that will basically be the end of the tutorial. There are a couple other controls, like you can view this screen and you can bring up a pause menu, which still needs a lot of work. But I'm not going to include those as part of the tutorial. And not the interact button either, which is E, because that prompts you when you hover over something interactable. So yeah, so that's the tutorial. I want to make it a little bit nicer by animating it. And there's a couple of other enhancements I need to make as well. And also I need to start writing the options. So like the options here, I need to start writing those to a file. And I'll also have to keep track of whether the tutorial has been completed. Hello, Matka, welcome. Good to see you. All right, so let's start by animating this tutorial flow a little bit. So now the problem with this is that it is notoriously difficult to animate UI elements. So let's see if we can get away with using a tween for this. So I've got this next function, which basically pulls up the next tutorial element. So show current and hide current. These are where I want to place my tweens. So let's start by doing the show here. So var tween is equal to create tween. And then we're going to say tween.tween property. We're going to tween the property of the, let's get the current control. So var control equals get current. So we're going to tween the control. We're going to tween the visible property. We're going to set it to true, and we'll just do that over 0 seconds. Then tween property control. We want to tween the position. And we want to go to the the current control position, and let's do that over a period of 1 second. And we're going to do from, let's say vector2.up times 64. We'll see if that's sufficient. And we're going to say set ease type out, and then transition type we're going to set to back. So that'll give us a nice little fade in here. I probably need this. Yeah, so let's tweak this a little bit. So we've got this control here. This will return null if it's not valid. So if control is equal to null, we'll just return. And then we can get rid of this block there. Perfect. All right. So, and then we want to do the same thing basically for the hide current, except we want to do it in the reverse order basically. So let's do that. We want to set visible to false at the end. And then we want to go to vector2.up. And we want to do it from the current position. So control.position. And we want to do probably in, I think. Okay, so let's see if that works. Now, there might need to be some delays introduced because what's happening is, yeah, might need some delays. So show current probably needs a little bit of a delay here. Tween interval so that it has time to hide the current one. All right, let's give that a whirl and see if that works. What's up, Karthik? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Oh, that's not good. So I think I did my position calculation wrong here. So this needs to be from vector2.up, so control.position plus vector2.up, and then this needs to be vector2.up times 64. We're just gonna ignore the magic numbers for now. Okay, so let's give that a shot now. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, so you can see that the problem is that these are very glitchy. These, they glitch hard. So I think I'm going to change how this is working here. So instead of this being a margin container, let's make this, well, actually, you know what I could do? Maybe, let's see. I wonder if I could just use a regular old control here. Yeah, we'll give it that. We'll move all these things inside. And then we'll set the anchor preset to center top for all of these. All right, well, let's see if that works a little bit better. The other thing that I need to do, actually, is I need to make sure that all of these are ignoring mouse events. So let's select all those. Let's search for mouse. Let's change the filter to ignore. And that will hopefully avoid any issues with mouse input. All right, let's give that a shot. Hopefully it don't break. Okay, so there's my movement. Okay, so that's looking much nicer. It's a little bit slow, so I'll probably turn that down, but cool. All right then. So that's looking good. Let's just turn down the duration here to 0.5 f, 0.5 seconds for both. And then I'm going to reduce the number of shots that are required to trigger the next tutorial element from the shoot element. All right, let's give that a shot. Thinking about coming back to Godot. For now, I work on a Java server project. Is it a personal project or is it for work or something? I like doing back-end work, server work quite a bit. It's a lot of fun. Cool. All right, so that tutorial is looking really good now. I think one thing that I want to do is maybe add a little bit of motion to those elements while they're stationary. I don't know, games just look better when like basically everything is animated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an idle tween, so, or a reference to an idle tween. So I'm going to say private tween idle tween. And what I'm going to do in here is, you know, after the show current here, we're going to do this. Let's say, we're going to say idle tween dot kill if valid. Then we're going to say idle tween is equal to create tween. Idle tween dot tween interval 0.5. And then idle tween dot tween property do I want to do this? Let's see. Tween property control position control dot position plus vector 2 dot down dot from control dot position plus vector 2 dot up. And this needs to maybe take place over 0.25 seconds. And then we're going to set the loops here. So let's see. I hope that it sets the loops from this point forward, but we'll see what happens. Okay. And the other thing that I want to do probably actually is say idle tween equals no, actually that's fine. Okay. Hello, Louise. Welcome, welcome. My friend is doing an interview and he shared a task with me to do cinema management server, so I do it for fun. Oh, that's fun, yeah. Not in the framework they requested, so currently I'm learning that. Gotcha. You like DB optimization, huh? Okay, I don't know if that animation is super necessary. I think that's going to add too much complexity. Yeah, DB stuff is fun. I do all of my backend work in Node.js. Been using an ORM called Prisma. I don't know if you've heard of Prisma, but it's super cool. You can define the schema in a very simple text file, and then it will automatically do the migrations for you. And you can like basically connect to any database backend, even like NoSQL, which is crazy. Hello, no one. That's kind of strange. Hello, no one. It sounds like I'm crazy or something. All right, so what am I doing? One thing that I want to do for the tutorial here is, so after the tutorial is finished, I want to highlight the lever here so that the player knows to walk over here. I also want to redo the training dummy. They're a little bit small. So yeah, so after the tutorial is done right here, I want to highlight this with an arrow so that the player knows to walk up, and that will incidentally teach the player another control, which is E to interact. So let's do that. So if I go to my continue lever, there is an interaction area component here already. Why am I getting errors? Let's just ignore those. If you see red in the console, generally speaking, ignore it and then hope your game doesn't break. That's a joke, by the way. You should pay attention to your errors. Okay, so the interaction area component, I need to be able to turn this on. Interaction area component. I might do just something hacky here. Point of interest component toggle visibility. Toggle, we'll call it toggle point of interest visibility. and then we'll do boolean visible, and then we'll just pass that along, point of interest component dot toggle visibility visible. Now, how does this actually work? I see, okay. All right, so the way that this works basically is that if I turn the visibility off, it will never be shown, but if I turn it on, then it automatically handles the logic for how it should be shown. So that should be good. I'm gonna say in here, add to group, and this is just a, or this dot add to group. This is just an extension method that I wrote, which basically takes the name of the type and adds it to a group of the same name. So this will be added to a group called continue lever, which is useful for doing the following. So if I go to my initialize here, I can say this dot get tree, well, not this dot get tree, get tree dot get first node in group, and I can pass in just the continue lever here, and boom, look at that. So this is going to give me any continue lever, the first continue lever that exists in the continue lever group. So it's pretty nice. Oh, and I realized that I'm going to need to figure this out because this is not going to work immediately. Okay. I am doing well. Thank you, no one. I'm scared of loose typing in JS. Well, I use TypeScript, so solves that problem. TypeScript transpiled to JavaScript. Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if there's a Java binding for Godot. I haven't seen one, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. I'm speaking like I know how to create language bindings. I don't. I'm just assuming that it should be possible. Guten Morgen add-on. I found a memory leak bug with tweens in C# the other day. Basically, the object doesn't ever get garbage collected unless kill and then dispose is called right after. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's a bunch of issues with C# in Godot 4 that I wish... one of them is causing a crash in my game, which is making me a little nervous because the demo is supposed to be out soon. So I was saying earlier that I might have to build the engine myself because there is a fix for the crash I'm experiencing for C#, but it hasn't been merged yet. So I'm gonna have to like figure out how to build Godot locally, pull in that branch so I can have my fix, and then build the demo version of the game from that. Thoughts on Godot's multiplayer capabilities? I really want to make a multiplayer game with Godot 4's system because it looks really awesome and powerful and easy. I just, it's a matter of time. I really want an excuse to make a multiplayer game. I might do a video on it. I might just give myself like a week-long challenge to make a multiplayer game in Godot and just publish a video. So yeah, I don't have any thoughts beyond that because I haven't actually used it yet, but I think it looks really cool to me. That is my impression. Yes, that's exactly right, Ryan Forrester. It's the ref counted bug, which I think I fixed the main instance when my game crashes using ref counted, but I'm still using ref counted in like 8 other places to send, custom classes across, across to a signal. So let's see here. I just realized that my camera mode is not correct. I don't know if I should play with it because it's a little dark here. Oh well, it should be fine for now, but... Oh no, it's fine. Okay. I started using game object instead and handling it with free. Yeah, I did that as well. I might have to do that in all the other instances too, which is kind of unfortunate, but... Yeah, I don't know how to get around it other than building the engine with that fix included. I'm kind of hoping that another release candidate comes out in the next couple weeks that includes that fix. so I can avoid doing that, but we'll see. All right, so yeah, we need to make this lever. So the problem is that when I get this lever here, this get first node in group, the lever is actually not going to be in the tree yet because it gets beamed down in the teleporter. So, so I might need to wait for a little bit. I mean, I could just hack it together. I don't think tutorial content needs to be, or the tutorial class rather, needs to be super well architected. So I think what I might do is I might just make this like an async here, and then await this dot timer 2 seconds, and then grab the lever. If lever is not equal to null, then we're gonna say lever. Do I want to do that? Wait a minute. I think I'm thinking about this all wrong. I've got this all wrong. When the tutorial is completed is when I want to get the lever and mark it. So let's just create a new method called complete. Let's cut that out. Create a new method down here. We'll do that signal emission there, but let's grab the lever as well. Lever equals get tree, get first node in group, lever. And then if lever is not equal to null, lever dot toggle point of interest visibility true. What does it want me to do here? Oh, I guess it wants me to do the conditional, yeah. And then we'll emit that signal tutorial completed, which still needs to be listened to by the main, but we'll handle that in a little bit here. All right, so let's blow through the tutorial and see if that is going to work. So I gotta move, aim, shoot, dash. There we go. So now it's got the indicator, and that works even off screen. So if I move off screen, you can see that's at the bottom there, telling me where I need to go. So that's pretty obvious. And then when you walk up to it, begin next wave, and that drops you right into the game. So that's basically the tutorial that's done. Now we actually need to handle the logic of when we show the tutorial to the player. But let me commit that all first. So let's say add tutorial animations. Okay. So now we want to get rid of the tutorial flow from here because we don't want it to be part of the scene immediately. We're going to preload the tutorial flow in case we need it. And when we load the main here, let me go to my options manager here. So what I want to do is I want to create a public static bool show tutorial get set. We're going to set it to true by default so that if you don't have any options saved, it will show by default. Then we're going to go to the wave manager, and in here we have a different state for the tutorial. So if debug mode, go straight to the first wave, otherwise go to the tutorial state. So we'll modify this if statement here to say if options manager dot show tutorial, and this should be not show tutorial. So if not options manager show tutorial and debug mode, we're going to go straight into the game. Otherwise, we're going to show the tutorial. Or this should be or. Actually, there's a... Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we're sending our state to the state tutorial if options manager show tutorial is true, which also means that in our main here, if options manager show tutorial, we'll just put this in the main here. Probably not the optimal place for it, but what is this? Method on fired can be made static. I don't want to make it static, bro. So let's do show tutorial. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. Okay, so when we show the tutorial, what do we want to do? We want to basically say, add child resource preloader dot instance instantiator null tutorial flow. And then we actually want to store this as a separate variable. So tutorial flow is equal to, let's grab this. Paste that there. Add child tutorial flow. Is there a way to add it a specific index? We'll figure that out later, I suppose. Tutorial flow dot tutorial completed plus equals on tutorial completed. And I'm actually going to do this. So let's create a new method on tutorial completed. And this is going to take tutorial flow as an argument. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to say if is instance valid flow flow.queueFree. So that'll just get rid of it. Now, actually, I probably want to make this a little bit of an async here. Await this. Let's do this. Await this dot timer. So we'll give it time for it to finish its animations. I mean, I could do it here, or I could only emit the completed signal when the animations are done, but it's fine. It doesn't have to be, like I said, it's just a tutorial. It doesn't have to be super well architected. Okay, so if options manager show tutorial, perfect. So I don't have the tutorial in the scene anymore, so now if I run the game, it should work. Now, the other thing that I need to do is I need to dismiss the tutorial if I pull the lever early. Alternatively, I can disallow the lever from being pulled early. So it's a question of which one I want to do. Probably will disallow it because that's the easier technical solution, and once you're shown the tutorial, I'm planning on hiding it for future, so you won't have to go through it every time. So we'll disable the lever until the tutorial is completed as well. Okay, so I want to pause this, and I just want to make sure that in my remote scene tree here, yep, the tutorial flow is no longer in the tree, so that's good. Okay, so that appears to be working pretty well. Why don't you use GDScript? Does it benefit using C# instead of GDScript? It's mostly personal preference. There are some instances where I think C# is actually objectively better than GDScript, and that is for performance-related issues. If you need to, if you need to do like a very heavy loop, you're probably going to get better performance in C#. But and also if you want to use like NuGet packages, there's a bunch of NuGet packages that you can import into your project that contain all kinds of interesting stuff. Like for my game Swordslinger, which you can check out on Steam, I actually used a C# implementation of a physics engine, and I basically used that to build a physics engine on top of Godot's physics, because I needed deterministic physics. Anyway, it's a long story. So there are situations where there are NuGet packages for functionality that your game needs, and so you'd want to use C# in that instance. But mostly it's just personal preference. Move child. Oh yeah, that's a good call. How long have you been working on this project for now? That's a good question. Probably like a year and a half or more. This game has gone through many iterations, and there was like a period of, I don't know, 6 months or a year or something where I didn't work on it. So it's been resurrected now for probably more than 6 months. So it's been a while. All right, should we do something fun now? Let's write the options to the disk. So when you change the options, they'll be saved. So now the question is, now the question is, what is the best way to approach that? I definitely want to use JSON, I think, for the options. So basically just like, I might have to put some of these properties. Might have to put some of these properties in a separate class. I don't really know how Newtonsoft JSON works. I've used it before, but I just need a refresher here. So basically the idea is we're going to save the music volume percent, the SFX volume percent, and camera shake disabled, and also show tutorial. And we'll load that on startup as well. What was the physics stuff you used? It was a library called Chipmunk 2D, I believe, which had like it's like a C++ library, but then it had a C# port. So I used that. It was pretty cool. Have I used Unity before? No, I haven't. I used GameMaker Studio. Well, the old versions of GameMaker, GameMaker Studio 1, GameMaker Studio 2, and Godot. Those are like the big ones that I've used. I mean, I have used Unity, but just not to any great extent. Mostly because I've just been interested in making 2D games. All right, so let's figure out how Newtonsoft JSON works. All right, json.net. Well, I guess first step is to add that. Well, let's commit what I've got here. So, yeah, okay. Actually, I think I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. There's one other thing I need to do, which is to disable the lever. Yeah. So if I go to my tutorial flow, I think I need to modify the lever a little bit. So I'm going to say toggle interaction enabled, bool enabled, and then we're going to say interaction area component dot toggle interaction enabled. Okay, and then in my tutorial flow here, we're going to toggle interaction enabled true, but in our wave manager when we spawn it, here, enter state tutorial, lever dot toggle interaction enabled false. Okay, so let's just check that real quick and then we'll go to the Newtonsoft stuff, the json.net or whatever it's called, I don't know. Okay, so I shouldn't be able to use this lever, so that's good. So now I'll go through the tutorial real quick, shoot a bunch of times, dash, okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we'll commit that. That's fine. Okay, so now back to Newtonsoft. So let's see, NuGet. What is? Can I just do JSON.net? Here we go. Let's go ahead and add this. Perfect. All right, now let's figure out how to use it. Is there any way I can know your next live? No, unfortunately, I don't really do a schedule. I just kind of do it whenever. It's usually on weekends, usually around this time. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter. I usually tweet when I'm going live, and you can also like ring the notification bell for YouTube, and that should notify you as well. All right. So JSON.net pricing. What is this? Okay. So where's the documentation? Here's the documentation. Serializing and deserializing JSON. All right. So yeah, this is showing an example with a specific class, but I think there's a way I can do it with attributes, right? I can mark the things that I want to be serialized. Serialization guide. Well, let's keep this link open and let's just open this. Is there an attribute? I saw JSON array attribute. Okay, here we go. It's probably going to be better to serialization attributes. Here we go. JSON property, JSON property, JSON property. Cool. Member serialization opt-in. Okay, I think that's what I want, right? So I want to specify which options I serialize. It's probably going to be better practice to split this into a different class anyway, isn't it? See, the problem is, though, that I don't want to do that because then it makes it really hard to modify the options. It becomes really verbose. Whatever, I'm just going to try it the in-ideal way first. And then we're going to figure it out. So JSON object member serialization opt-in. And what I want to do is I want to JSON... Is that what it was? JSON property. So there's our music volume percent, SFX volume percent. Cool. All right. Cool. And then these are all properties, so I can basically just trigger a save whenever one of these is written to, which should be fine. Hello, Celeste Dertail. That's a cool name. I ran into issues with exporting back in Godot 3.4 when using Newtonsoft JSON. Ended up using memory streams instead. I've never had issues with them. What was the exact issue? Well, we'll see if it works. Hopefully it does. Okay, so there's the JSON properties. So now I need to, so on reset options. Oh, I guess the problem with triggering a save here is that when I do something like this where I set a bunch of properties at the same time, each of these is going to trigger a save. So I'll probably just need to have like a debounce or something, or an effective debounce. So maybe I can do something like private static trigger save or something. I'm gonna have to think about this a little bit more, but let's just get it working first. So let's do this. Private const save path. Why do I always forget the type? Save path equals. I'm used to JavaScript where you don't have to necessarily define the type, it'll just infer it based on the value. So, all right, so let's do user options. Does it need a file extension? We'll just call it options.json, whatever. Cool. So that's our save path. When we save, what do we want to do? We want to serialize JSON, serializer, JSON convert, serialize object. I wonder if this is even going to work with static properties. Options manager. Is this even going to work? Guess we'll find out. Let's do gd.print. So we'll print the JSON, and let's just do this. When we create the options menu, let's just trigger a save. I know that doesn't make sense, but I just want to see what it looks like. So actually, I can go to my, well, let's just click on the options menu here. All right, music volume percent 1.0, SFX volume percent 1.0. All right, that actually looks that looks fine. So the other thing that is wise to have is a version number. So private static or private const string. Let's just do this. Let's put it up here. Private const string version. And we'll just say a 1 point. I'll just say 1. It's fine. So this will be useful. So if I ever radically expand the options and I need a different structure, in the worst case scenario, I can write a migrator that detects, okay, this is save version 1, so I'm going to take all the properties from save version 1, transform it into the new data format, and then save it in the new version. Of course, but if I don't have that from the start, it could be very difficult to deal with migrations. Getting the library to work for Linux builds. Oh, interesting. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Have you got any professional experience with game dev before, or did I self-learn everything? No, I don't have any professional experience with game dev specifically. Programming, yes, but not game dev. I learned basically everything. I do have a game dev degree from college, but I would not say that that was super valuable. Yeah. So JSON. So I'm just going to check this again. Oops. Options. Here we go. Is my version in there? Oh, did I get rid of the print or something? Oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. 1 second. Interesting. I'm not doing this the way that I should be from the pause menu, I don't think. On options pressed, yeah, I think this needs to be options manager dot create options menu. But I'm not even sure if that's going to work, so let's test that real quick. How about combine JSON with resources, load the data to resource? Well, I'll do that if the JSON doesn't work, but I think, I don't know, I generally don't like working with resources when saving data. Oh, interesting. process mode always. There we go. All right then. So fix that up, so that's good. So that means I can go to my pause menu and remove the options manager from there. Or I can remove the resource preloader altogether. Excellent. Okay, whoops. All right, so now we got to write this data to the to the disk. I'm going to see if I can remember how to do this. File access dot open save path mode flags dot read, or let's just do mode flags dot write, I guess. Is this going to return an error? Let's just do some error handling here. If file equals null, logger dot error get file. How do I do this? File access dot get file. Wait a minute. So this says get open error. Returns null if opening the file failed. Get open error. Get open error. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, let's see if that works. So we'll just return out of that. Otherwise, we could say file.store store line. Is that how that works? Yep. All right. Okay, so this should be pretty easy to do. So let's run this. You can save it, yeah, but how friendly is that with C#? Is it going to give me back a Godot dictionary that I then have to translate into C#? The reason I'm using the Newtonsoft is because I can take a C# model and just serialize and deserialize from that pretty easily. Okay, so options. So let's open the user data folder. There's our options JSON. Let's open it. It did not store anything. Why didn't it store anything? Why didn't that work? It created the file, which means that it succeeded. Store line didn't work. Do I need to close? I don't need to close things, do I? Maybe I should read the file access documentation. Maybe I should read the file access documentation. Let's see. Store string. No, it seems to be okay. Oh, using var file. File access will close when it's freed. Using. Okay, so do I need to maybe do that? Probably not. It's probably not the issue, but I should probably do that still. Using var file, okay. Get out of here, VS Code. Okay, so using var file, I guess let's just see what happens if that prints that JSON. How long have I been working on this game? Probably like a year and a half or something around there. It's been kind of like staggered a little bit. Okay, so it logged that. Okay, now it wrote. Maybe that was the issue then. Okay, so there's my data. Cool. All right, so the data's there. So now we can write a more sophisticated save trigger here. So one thing that I want to try is I'm going to create a property. Private static is saving. I guess I don't need to set false. Goodness, I keep forgetting the type. Okay, private static is saving. Callable dot from. Can I use a static method and a callable? We're about to find out. Clear saving, something like that. So again, the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to try to prevent multiple simultaneous saves when I write, because what I want to do here is basically define like these setters, which might be a little bit inefficient, but set like this. We're going to say, oh, then I got to define, wait, I don't want to do that. Dang, I might have to create properties here. Or members or whatever they're called. What if there's a better way to do that? Now, why isn't this working? Because I need to put it up here. All right. So that's kind of what I was thinking of doing, is basically just have a getter and setter where setting the value automatically triggers a save of the options. Now, maybe that's not the thing that I want to do. Maybe it's not the thing that I want to do. Maybe I want to control it a little bit more. Because when I'm sliding the sliders, it's going to trigger a bunch of saves, and I don't think that's necessary. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. And we'll just rename this to save. Public. Let's not overthink it. Okay, so that means that here we're going to want to save when we click reset options. Okay, and then I can just go to my options menu. On reset, press on done pressed. We're going to say options manager.save. Okay, that'll work a little bit nicer, I suppose. All right. So now, oops, options. I should be able to just do all this stuff. Okay, and yeah, I can see that these have all been saved. Is camera shake disabled? All right, so that's all good. So now I need to read it. Let's go ahead and read it. So options manager. I'll just create a load here. I want to move this up a little bit. Let's see. That's good. So load So let's just copy all this. Now the question is, what happens when this fails to read? Oh, I guess it'll be null. So if file equals null, we're going to return. Otherwise, we're going to say var JSON equals file.get get as text, I guess. Get as text. And then we're going to do JSON convert.deserialize object. And I think I need to pass in the options manager, right? Yeah. Now I think this can fail. I'll be curious to see what happens. So I'm actually going to go back here. I'm going to make this some like jumbled nonsense here to see what happens when it fails to parse the JSON. I'm thinking it's going to throw an error. Yeah, here we go. Type initializer through an exception. So that means that we just got to write a try. We'll just log the message here. Okay, and we can just do nothing otherwise if it fails to read because we have default options. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this again and see if the same thing happens. After parsing, value an unexpected character was encountered. Oh, that's the error that I'm logging, okay. So that's working as expected. So let's change the options and see if those save the updated values. So wait, let's just take a look at this. So music at about 75%, SFX about 25%, camera shake off. Okay. All right, so let's go to options, and there we go. There's our options. Now, I actually don't know if this is, well, let's just see. It should be fine, actually. Yeah, it should be fine. Yeah, there's no camera shake anymore. Okay. So that appears to be working pretty well. And now the last thing to do is to turn the tutorial off when the tutorial's done. So tutorial completed, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say options manager dot show tutorial equals false, options manager dot save, and that's it. So now if I play through the tutorial, oh, Godot crashed, that's not good. So I'll play through the tutorial and see. Okay, so the tutorial's completed now. So I'm gonna open up Godot again. Hello, Sagleaf. Welcome back. Hello, Bruno. Do I have specific days for live streaming? I don't. No. It's kind of just like haphazard. Hello, Neozoid. Okay, there should be no tutorial now. Look at that, no tutorial. But if I do this, if I say options reset to defaults, and I quit the game and go back, it should show me the tutorial again. There we go. All right, so that all appears to be working. The final thing to do for this is to add a toggle for the show tutorial. So private checkbox, show tutorial button. Show tutorial button toggled on tutorial button toggled. Here we go. No, don't do that. Lowercase p. So on tutorial button toggled. Options manager dot show tutorial is equal to is enabled. I believe that ought to do it. So let's start from scratch here. So if I open my user data folder and delete that options JSON, and then I run the game. Okay, options, we've got the tutorial, so there's that. I'll go into the game. Here's my tutorial. I'm gonna turn the tutorial off and then start again. Cool, and then if I do options, oh, why is that on? Oh, because I'm not loading that properly. This is why you test. So update display, show tutorial button dot button pressed is equal to not options manager, or not that. It's equal to options manager dot show tutorial. All right, so that should be good now. So if I go to my options, show tutorials off, I can go in. Okay, but if I turn it on now, or if I click reset to defaults, it should reset everything and then go back in, and there is my tutorial. All right. So that's basically that for the tutorial options. Now, why is it setting my volume here? That's not good. We're gonna get rid of those. Oh, is it actually saving my bus volumes? That's weird. So if I go to why would it save my bus volumes? That's weird. Oh well, this is why I check the diffs as well. All right. So save tutorial completion state. All right, so the tutorial is basically done now. Hello, Matrix. Matrix. Good to see you. All right, so let's take a look at the other things that I've got in the backlog here. So I'm done with the tutorial, basically. I might want to redo the... Oh my goodness. Drag on over, thank you. So I might want to update the art actually for the dummy, the tutorial dummy, just so it's a little bit nicer, I guess. What else we got in here? Yeah, there's a bunch of UI stuff that needs to be done. I'm gonna add another thing actually here. So add social links to main menu. So this to-do list is basically everything that I need to do for the demo, as well as anything that's in progress here. So let's just tweak the training dummy a little bit. So if I go to my assets, entity, training dummy, let's open him up. See if we can make him a little bit nicer here. So I think I want to go with a bigger head. Bigger body. I like the hat, so let's maybe copy that. Gotta be bigger though. Oops. All right, let's see what does that look like here. All right, that's looking decent, I suppose. I think it needs to just be, yeah, there we go. There we go. I think that's what needed to happen. Just needed to be a little bit wider. So we'll keep the hat basically the same. Dude's got a big target on him. Let's see. That works. Soften up those edges a little bit. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think this will work just fine. One thing that's kind of difficult here is that it's hard to tell how good this looks without adding an outline. So I'm going to add an outline here real quick. I think that pole might be a little bit too big. Maybe give it a little bit of a tilt. I don't know if that looks good, but we'll roll with it. So let's add an outline here. I'm not going to spend like an egregious amount of time on this, but I think it'll turn out better than the smaller dude. The smaller training dummy, that is. Maybe the face. I think the face needs to be narrower here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Maybe also move the hat down a bit. That should be fine. I think I was trying to do like straw coming out of them. I think that's what these were supposed to be. Kind of looks like arms, but maybe these need to be a lighter yellow. Or at least have some highlight here. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I think this one needs to change a little bit. All right, let's just start over with that one. Was not liking how that was turning out. So we'll basically just do the same thing, but on the other side. All right, that's looking decent. That's looking decent. So we need to add some variation in here, I think, as well. Yeah, I think this color is probably better here. So I'll add some... a little bit of shading, I suppose. Just kind of figuring it out as I go along. Hello, morning. Or hello. Hello, morning. Hello, Drufus. Good morning. 1:25 a.m. Sunday. Wow. It is 11, almost 11:30 here, a.m. It's quite late. Let's see. I need a lighter color here. I don't know if I have one though. I don't really have a lighter color to work with. No, that doesn't work. Maybe this is fine. What happens if I do this? Oh, that looks pretty cool, actually. All right, well, we can see how that looks in game here. I wonder if I should add, like, eyes or something. Nope. I'm so bad at these faces here. I think what I'll do is I'll just increase the, well, maybe not increase the shadow there. That might be okay. And then... oh, here's what I could do. Yeah, I could do something like, I don't know, give him a little nose or something. It's dumb. I don't have a lighter version of this color to use, which is kind of unfortunate. Can I just darken everything? I could potentially darken everything. And then that gives me the ability to give a little bit more form. Nah, I don't think that's necessary. We can see how it looks in game. Well, let's see how that looks. We'll throw that in game. Goodbye, old one. Training dummy. 1 second. All right, so how does this training dummy look in game? It has a yellow center. I could do yellow center. All right, let's see. Sprite 2D. Hope this isn't too big. Should be fine. And then my hurt box component. this collision shape needs to be bigger now. There we go. All right, let's see how that goes. I think it looks fine. The shadow looks a little bit off, so I think probably the way to fix that is to move the sprite over a little bit. And then we can maybe change the radius here. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, I think that's that doesn't look terrible. I just primarily wanted it to be a bigger target than what was there before. One thing that I want to do, I will try the yellow color too, but I want to see. Problem with yellow is that it's not contrasty enough. Although that kind of works, that orange. I think that probably works. Also going to change this color. Nah. Keep it the way it was. All right, let's see. Oops. See what that looks like. Yeah, the lighting is also making it kind of hard to see, but I think it does add variation. Cool. All right, I think that's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said. All right, let's get that committed. So let's see. I don't know why this option menu changed, but I guess it'll be fine. So update training dummy. Cool. All right. Well, that is going to be it for the stream today. A little bit of a short one, but got a good chunk of work done. So thank you all for watching. If you're interested in Gunforged, you can wishlist on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. Be on the lookout for the demo. So if you want to be notified that the demo is out, you can sign up for my newsletter at firebelly.com, or you can ring that notification bell, or you can do both. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. I will be announcing it there as well. So yeah, thank you all for your interest. Thanks for watching and hanging out. It was fun. And yeah, the links for everything are in the description below. All right. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, everyone, and I'll see you in the next stream.